Hello, neighbors. The struggles continue at Durham Public Schools. We'll dive into that soon. I'm Wes Platt, editor and publisher of Southpoint Access. It's our lucky 13th episode of To the Point. Do you feel lucky? I'm celebrating my birthday on September 22nd. So, what can you do to celebrate? Well, I'll give it to you straight. It would be awesome if you haven't already to become a subscriber or an advertiser supporting Southpoint Access. Our readership market includes tens of thousands of potential readers in and around South Durham. For as little as $12 a year, you can subscribe and support ultra-local news coverage. For $50 a week, you can advertise a small business in our news posts. We've got the potential to bring in enough revenue to underwrite freelance reporters, photographers, and maybe even an advertising sales rep to help build Southpoint Access into an even stronger source of community journalism here in South Durham that's owned and operated locally by me, not by a chain based thousands of miles away. I'm right here with my family in Hope Valley Ridge. And I've got a vested interest in what's going on here, especially with two kids in Durham Public Schools, which brings us to this week's big point. In the last couple of weeks, Durham Public Schools dominated our headlines, from Jane Dornaman's letter to the editor, taking the district to task for unreliable transportation, to the district's efforts to attack some of her concerns in a good way, to the State Department of Public Instruction releasing report cards about Durham schools that continue to struggle with testing. If you didn't read Jane's letter, you really should. I'm including the link to it in the details of this video. Basically, she laid out her concerns about the district's reliance on an app called Edulog. The app is supposed to track students aboard their buses, but if a bus breaks down and has to be swapped with another, the matching GPS doesn't go with it, making it difficult, if not impossible, to keep track of your kid. Days after we shared that letter in Southpoint Access, the district sent a message to DPS families like mine, apologizing about the problems, which they blamed on staffing issues due to increased demand for services. Staffers who should have been back in the office fielding calls from parents were deployed to cover bus routes, creating a system backlog. District officials put the team to work on weekends to process outstanding requests. They moved forward with efforts to hire temporary staff to answer phones during the week, and they changed to an earlier unloading time for elementary school buses to create a better arrival window for middle and high school routes. They also fixed an error that stopped some buses from being linked properly to the Edulog app, and they got permission from the North Carolina DMV to reduce driver training, the required period, from 6 to 2 months. Now, hopefully all that helps. We'll see. We've had, it's the start of the traditional school year, but the year-round schools have been going for 9 weeks now. So you would think a lot of this would be kind of baked in and resolved by now, but we're going to see how things go. Keep an eye out for that. Also, as I mentioned, the state released data summarizing public school performance on standardized tests. Not everybody agrees with the tests and with the results from them, how they're measuring our students, but this is what the state is using to tell us how schools are performing. Our Durham public schools may not have fared as badly as they have in the past, but they are still clearly struggling, with more than 40% scoring in the D range during the 2023-24 academic year. However, more than 80% met or exceeded their growth targets, so that's good news. Two schools previously listed as low performing, C.C. Spalding and Forest View Elementary School, are now clear of that label. The district had one F school this year, Lowe's Grove Middle School. How did DPS compare to our neighboring districts? Well, no schools in Chapel Hill Carborough City Schools fell below a C. Most got a B. Wake County, which has 3 times as many schools as DPS, had a large proportion of B as in boys schools. It also had a few F schools, but relative to Durham, doesn't have as many academically struggling schools. Here's how Dr. Anthony Lewis, Durham's new superintendent, summed it up. While today's data release does not tell our entire story, it does provide impetus for us to continue the important work of educating our students with excellence. It's worth pointing out that a big part of the district's strategy for improving school performance is making sure great staff are in every classroom. That's going to prove difficult, with DPS still seeking dozens of teachers and teaching assistants, many of them positions that would be working with exceptional children. Hope Valley Elementary, which is where my daughter Athena goes, just made the switch to year round this year. They listed 6 openings last week, including a full time media center coordinator, 2 full time certified teachers, and classified employees who work with exceptional children and provide sign language interpretation and spoken language facilitation. Lowe's Grove, which I mentioned earlier, needs 4 EC teachers and an assistant. They need an AIG coordinator. They need teachers for math, chorus, and science. Rogershurst Middle School, my son's school, is hiring EC teachers, an instructional assistant, and ELA teachers, and a math teacher. Jordan and Hillside High Schools both need EC teachers. I asked district officials what incentives or initiatives they're using to recruit certified math and science teachers, especially in middle and high school. Crystal Roberts, DPS Director of Strategic Communications, said at this time, we no longer have monetary incentives, but in our recruitment efforts, we explain the impact prospects will have on students' lives takes intentionality and relationship building. DPS also offers a supplement of about $6,450 per year for teachers, which is one of the highest supplements in the state. If you know someone who wants to make a difference as educators in the lives of Durham's kids, you need to point them in the direction of DPS's careers website. I'm going to include a link to it in the details of the video. Now, before I wrap up this episode, I wanted to let everyone know I'm really happy about this. Southpoint Access is the official media sponsor of A Taste of Greece, which will be held October 5th and 6th at St. Barbara Greek Orthodox Church, down 751, just south of Interstate 40's Jordan Lake exit. In the interest of full disclosure, I also attend St. Barbara with my family, and I serve on the parish council. So please come out, join the fun, get a gyro, maybe some pastizio, and some cookies. Admission's free. The event's going to be open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on both days. It's going to be open rain or shine. You're going to find a full menu on Southpoint Access. I'll share a link in the details of the video. And last, it's been just about a year since I launched Southpoint Access as a side project on Substack, and then moved over to WordPress. I've been very pleased with the steady growth in readership and engagement, and I'm looking forward to that continuing. If you've got news, please submit a tip via the Southpoint Access website or send me an email to southpointaccessnews@gmail.com. Please follow us on Facebook, on Threads, on YouTube, and you can also connect on my Patreon, which will also be linked in the details. Thank you for watching. Please take care, and we'll see you next time on To The Point.